This is my 45-minute test video. You can see that I have placed something right outside the camera so I know how far that student papers can go. And I am going to be doing some work in my classroom, and we'll talk periodically, and I'm sure that I will have students come in who will need help, so you'll probably see me get up and move around the room. And I think probably start reading a math test to a few of the students that do come in, and I will just leave this recording for 45 minutes so that we can get an idea for sound quality. Um, and I will have one of the students sit in the chair opposite me to make sure that I have everyone in the frame that I need to. All right. Let's see. Okay. I have been out sick with myself and with my kids, so now is my fun teacher day to try to make up everything that I've missed and see where we are. I'm going to make my to-do list for the day. Trash pile. Down. Great. Every week I do some assessments of my IEP kiddos to see what kind of progress they're making um, for goal charting. So right now I'm grading some of those assessments that were done, um, and realizing that snow days and lack of routine is very harmful to our students. I also have to get my Girl Scout stuff ready to go at some point. Someone left their homework in my room. Oh, okay. So, to-do pile. Pass back to students. What to do is really don't student work. Someone's math test. Awesome. Trash. Really good stuff I can't afford. Grades. Quarter's almost over. Gotta get grades done. Books to file. Um, or
I got a little bit of icing on my fingers. It's good if I got.
It's okay. I'll be okay. I promise.
You sure?
Yeah, I have cake from the band thing, so it's
From the
okay if
band
there's.
thing.
Yeah, Mr. Knaus for any of us whose rooms they used for the chorus and
that's
band
nice.
ensemble. Got little cakes. So
Cool. Is this your room?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they finally put my name above the door, so
I
it's
didn't
even
know you had
official.
A room.
Oh yeah, I have my very own.
Ooh.
Nice big meeting space, student space.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
You too.
We'll be up later to see you.
You coming up today?
We are coming up today.
Ooh, thanks for the warning.
No problem. It's always great when you realize how far behind you are. Okay. Little one's running down the hallway. Yeah, I still have that quiz. Okay. Don't know what we did to check our emails before we had them on us all the time on our phones. For Reagan?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. There you are, my dear. Thank you. Okay. Got that done. is all trash. Sorry for my nose blowing. Between my sick kids and my sick students, I am just loving life. Trash cans, Germax. Hello. I was wondering if you guys are coming.
Yeah, we had to go a minute without talking.
Ah,
It was kind of
to go a minute without talking was kind of
He has to
impossible.
write 10 sentences, and the rest of the class gets to play.
Yeah, because Trent wouldn't be quiet.
Is Trey your business? No.
He restarted it every time somebody talked.
Yeah, I've done that to you guys before. This isn't anything new.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Why is the...
I am setting up something for my class. So I have to do just 45 minutes of recording to test the sound of my microphone.
Oh, that's...
Okay. So not a big deal. We'll read your test. Work from there. Jess, can you spread out from Anna so that you're not looking at each other's test? You're good. You don't need to be on camera.
What?
It's cool, man. Like, do I need to stop recording because
No.
you can't focus on what we're going to be doing? You're going to be looking at the camera?
No.
Okay.
Why do you have to record?
It's a test recording because I'm taking a class in which I will be working one-on-one with a student, and we will be working in front of a recorded session so I can get graded on how well the sessions go. So this is a test to make sure that like the microphone system is working and that the computer will work for 45 minutes to record.
So is it recording?
It's recording right now. Everything I'm saying, it's picking up. Picking up what I'm putting down. Okay. But we are going to pretend that it's not there, and we are going to focus on the test at hand.
Okay.
Okay? All right, number 1. Which point on the number line represents -1? Okay, so find your 0, go to -1. Is that point A, point B, point C, or point D? Number 2, look at the number line below. Which of the following is the absolute value? Remember that absolute value means distance from 0 for the integer located at point A. So find your 0, find your point A. What is the absolute value of that number? -1, 0, 1, or 2? Number 3. This table shows 3 different temperatures in Fahrenheit during a day in January in Illinois. What is the opposite value of the temperature at 11 a.m.? You are looking at your chart. You are looking at 11 a.m. and you want the opposite value. Is the opposite value 7, 1, -7, or -15? Jess, do you need a drink, sweetie? Do you need one? I'm just offering. Okay. Why don't you go ahead and go get a drink and we'll push pause. That's fine. We'll push pause on our test. You go get your drink and then we'll start back up, okay? That's fine. You're good. Might just help you with your cough a bit. We'll push pause on the test for just a minute.
Good morning. Recess will be inside all day. Recess will be inside all day.
It was actually kind of warm out this morning.
Were you two both gone yesterday?
Yeah,
Ah,
I think it was yesterday. I think it was like
did someone read your science test to you? Oh, no, this was. I did your science test with you.
Yeah.
This is from a few days ago.
that's
Yeah.
what I missed because I was sick and my mom had a doctor's appointment and I didn't have time to study for my test, so my mom just kept me home to have another day of study. Smart idea.
Mom kept me home so I could study for my test. Please don't. All right, does that feel a little better?
Mhm.
Okay, awesome. Number 4. Which shows the numbers in order from least to greatest? Is it A, -7, the absolute value of 9, the absolute value of -6, the absolute value of -13? Is it B, the absolute value of -13, the absolute value of -6, -7, the absolute value of 9? Is it C, -7, the absolute value of -6, the absolute value of 9, the absolute value of -13? Or D, the absolute value of -13, the absolute value of 9, the absolute value of -6, the absolute, or -7, sorry. You want least to greatest, smallest to biggest. Make your selection and then turn to the next page. The staples are apparently down on the bottom, so.
And she said on extra credit, it was like whatever the other one is.
Are you playing eeny, meeny, miny, mo to pick your answer?
And
Not your conversation. Look at your numbers. You are dealing with the same 4 numbers, right? -7, the absolute value of 9, the absolute value of -6, and the absolute value of -13. You can write those numbers down, write what the actual numbers would be above them to see if it works. You get them on your number line?
What?
Are you getting them on your number line?
So,
Think about a number line. Where do the negative numbers go? Ready? Okay, turn to the next page. Okay, number 5. Are we all ready? Which point represents negative 0.6 on the number line? Okay. Is it point A, point B, point C, or point D? Be careful of your number line because it uses halves for every part. Negative 0.6. Flip it over. Thank you. Okay, number 6. In one round of a game, Jorge's score was negative 8.5 points, and Kim's score was 6.25 points. Martin's score was between Jorge and Kim's scores. Which score in the round was the greatest number? Jorge's, Kim's, Martin's, or they all had the same score? If you need to, make a number line to help you. And the score was at 6.25. Jorge was negative 8.5. And Martin was in the middle, who had the greatest score. Okay. What is the value of the absolute value of negative 26? The absolute value of negative 26. Is it negative 26, 0, 2.6, or 26? What is the absolute value of negative 26? 8. In her 2-day weather forecast, Leslie predicts low temperatures of -5 and -1 degrees Fahrenheit. Write less than, greater than, or equal to write an inequality to compare the integers. The two numbers have been written for you. You just need to figure out which is the greater number and draw your arrow open to that side. So is -5 or -1 greater? Number 9. List the absolute values in order from greatest to least. Okay, before you list them, I want you to write above each number what their absolute value is. So above the absolute value of 11, write what number that is. Above the absolute value of 5, write what number that is. Above the absolute value of -3, write what number that is. And above the absolute value of -8, write what number that is. Then, writer, listen to this. When you are writing them on the line, you have to write them how they looked in the problem. So if they gave you absolute value signs in the original problem, you have to use those when you write them as your answer. You are going from greatest to least. Do that now. Same thing, you have to write them how they look.
Do we do the new answers or the answers that are on the paper?
So the new answers are going to help you put them in order, but you have to write the answer as it's on the paper given to you. Don't forget, you're not only looking for the absolute value signs, but you're looking for the negatives inside the absolute value signs as well. Okay, are we good there? All right, awesome. Order the following rational numbers from greatest to least. 7.5, -6, 7/8, -8/7. Biggest to smallest. Once you are done with that, flip over to the other side so that I know we are ready to move on. Yeah, oh, she's sick.
Oh. I came in here.
Okay, you good? Timothy, you got it? Awesome. Okay, last page. The anglerfish lives about 3,000 miles below sea level. What integer represents the depth of the anglerfish? So if he is below sea level, what do we use to show that? 3,000 miles below sea level. You do not have to have a label on this. You just need the correct number. 3,000 miles below sea level. Your hint is that the number should not change. "12. The Dead Sea is the lowest point on Earth. It is located at 1,360 feet below sea level. What is the value of negative 1,360? Can you have, don't answer this out loud, think about it. Can you have a negative number? So if you have two negatives together, what does that do to your number? The actual numbers don't change, but what should be with it? Write that number on the line. Does anyone need a minute? Okay. 30 seconds. What do we do with a negative number? Okay. Anna's teacher wrote the following rational numbers on the board. Plot these rational numbers on a number line. You need to put a dot where the number should go, and then put the number that corresponds with that dot above it. You have to make sure you write it exactly like it's given to you in the row of numbers. You're doing 3/4, the absolute value of negative 1.5, 1 and 9/10, negative 1.2. I have no idea. The first two numbers should be on one of the tick lines, the little tick lines. The second two numbers are going to be in the middle of two of the tick lines. I typed this in. We're just making it on the next line. I do. You run it. Copy. This is to send on.
Do you want to
She has one in her file.
you have a shred file? Will you able to do it?
I do not yet. That's it right now. Okay, did you get all 4 points plotted and written? Timothy, do you need a minute? Okay. You good? Okay. The table gives the results of a video game played by 4 friends. Which of the following lists the players from the highest score to the lowest score? I don't know why they said which of the following, like it was multiple choice. You need to write out the scores from highest score to lowest score. So Lee scored 100 points. Nikki scored negative 75 points. Abby scored 250 points. Katie scored negative 100 points. Biggest to smallest, you need to write their names, not their scores. From greatest to least, you need to write their names, not their scores. This is going to be a great day to read all of these tests. Okay, last one. Heather's father gives her a jar of pennies. She decided to add 3 pennies to the jar every day. After 10 days, she counted 462 pennies in all. How many pennies were in the jar before Heather began adding pennies? This is a 2-step problem. First, you need to find out how many pennies did Heather add to the jar. Then you need to find the difference between how many she added compared to how many there were total. So first step, think this one through. How many pennies did Heather add to the jar if she put in 3 pennies a day for 10 days? Three pennies a day for 10 days. Keyword being like each. Each day she put in 3 pennies. Okay, once you figure out how many pennies she put in the jar, you have to take the total number of pennies they gave you and find the difference with the number of how many she put in that you just found. Difference does not mean that. You have to figure out what difference means. Add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Difference. That's your hint. Do what you think, man. Difference by 6th grade. Difference should not be the difficult part of your math test. Oh. Well, Jess, Mom just got a call saying you weren't at school.
Yeah, Mr. Brown typed something in wrong for working.
Mr. Brown got the attendance wrong. Mom got a call that you weren't at school. She's kind of scared. How you feeling?
A little bit.
A little better, you think? Germax it up, man. You popped into that hand like 10 times. All right. When you finish that one, it does need a label because it asked you for how many pennies. The only one this time that needed a label. When you are finished, you may take it back. If you do not have other work to do, writer, you will bring your missing work that you still have back here and we'll work on it. Anna and Timothy, you will hand in your math test and then make sure that it is okay that you come back to do your science test. And I believe that is the end of my 45 minutes. Thank you for watching.